Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to my spring series of Springing into Sales. I'm going to go ahead and just post this. If you know an agent that you think would benefit from learning how to make sure your profile is set up for people to want to request a quote, please tag them in the comments. I would love to see it shared. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and post this in the, oh wait, no, we're not, make sure. Yep, okay. So let me go ahead. I'm just going to real quickly share this into the group because, and of course, and if I get a feedback, I'm sorry. So live, okay, share group. Something isn't working. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. Well, I'm trying to share it, but it is not working. Give me a second here. I'm going to. Okay, group. There we go. Sales and marketing tips. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'll have to share this afterwards because I'm not going to waste any more time on the screen. So if you know an agent who wants to work on their social media or their sales, go ahead and tag them in the comments because I'm trying to share this into the group, but it is just not working. Let me see if maybe, I want to just share this post. I'm going to try one more time. And if it doesn't work, all right, hold on, back. Oh, probably because I'm not logged in correctly. Oh, here we go. Yay. All right. Awesome. There we go. All right. It finally shared where I wanted it to share. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So, welcome. So this session, this mini class, now mini classes are like 10, 15 minutes. Okay. They're not long, but I'm going to share three quick, actually there's four, there's a bonus tip that I wanted to work into, but I want to talk about how to have your profile set up so that people will see you as a professional and see you as someone who can book their travel. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, so we have, is that going to share right? I'm sorry, fun fact, I don't know if we need to know this, but I usually have two monitors, one for the slides and one for my streaming. Well, my son's monitor on his computer broke, so he has my other monitor. And so now I have to it's just it is what it is. All right, so I want you to start with your profile. And we're not going to talk too long for this, but I always like to point this out. Whatever profile you are using for your business page or a professional profile or both, better to have both. I want you to make sure that you have your picture of you, just you. All right. Why is this important? Because people are booking with you. Okay. They're not booking with your whole family. They're booking with you. They're not booking with a picture of your garden. They're booking with you. So they want to see you become more credible. You become more trustworthy if there is a photo of yourself on your profile as your profile picture, not a logo. I'm talking about a real picture of you. I prefer in destination. I know some people prefer the professional, headshots, but I don't know. I like in destination because we're travel advisors, we're travel agents, we're in destination. What's more authentic than that, right? So start with your profile. You want to make sure that you have a cover photo that represents something you book and you have a picture of yourself. Okay. We won't get into whether you should have a professional profile or a business page. You should have a business page. And I highly recommend switching your profile into a professional profile. That is not the training objective here, but whatever you are using for your business, whatever you're using right this minute, make sure that your profile picture is a picture of you. Okay? If it's a logo, replace it. If you don't like your picture, don't worry about it. You don't have to like it. You just want to come across as a real person, because you are a real person. Okay. So that's the important thing. All right, let's go to now your bio on your profile. Okay. So what I have a professional profile. Okay. But then I link to my business page as one of my, as my job. Okay. So this is what people would see when they look at my bio. And it's super short. I say because too many parents and grandparents struggle with the overwhelm of choices when it comes to a Disney or Universal vacation. I help them navigate through all the options so they focus on making lifelong memories with their families. Very short, sweet. Do I book more than Disney and Universal? Yes, I do. But this is specific, it's to the point, and I have reworked it in the past, but keep it simple. Okay. If somebody is just discovering you, you want to focus on what you do best. Yes. Can I book a Norwegian cruise? Do I book Norwegian cruises? Yes, I do. But that's not my specialty. All right. So make sure that you're showcasing what you know. All right. Now let's go into our posts. We have way too many tools at our advantage. Okay, to be general in our postings. What I mean by general is that you are posting about, I am a travel agent. You can book, whatever it is. If you want to go on a cruise, you want to go to Mexico, you want to go to Bermuda, I can book your trip. Book it with me. Okay. I'm not seeing as many of those posts anymore, but there are still posts that I see out there in the social media universe. I don't want you to say that you are the jack of all trades, even though you can book many different things. When you are competing with Reels or TikToks or any other thing, you're competing for attention. And people like to see things that are specific to them, that they would stop and it would be helpful for them. So for example, all right, you want to make it worthwhile for them to read or watch. If you're doing a reel, if you're doing a post, a picture post, I don't care which one you do. All right. But what I want you to focus on is having something that's savable, that somebody would save or somebody would share. Okay. So like, for example, this is one. Many clients want to know when the best time to visit Disney is. Well, if you don't need to worry about kids in a school schedule, here are my top 3 times to visit. Okay. So it's specific. Okay. I'm talking about Disney. And then I'm giving those 3. That's like, oh, somebody might screenshot that. Okay. And you want to become a valuable resource. Okay. And this is something that people will say, oh, I saw your post about going the week before school's let out for Christmas break. This has happened. Okay. Because when you are specific, when you are providing this valuable information, it becomes more credible. It makes you more credible. It makes people want to trust you. Listen, there are many things competing with us out there. Okay. There are people who, there's people who book on their own. They'll always book on their own. That's their thing. But there's also Costco. There's also, some direct websites have the AI agents now that are, very, very, they're useful, but they're not people. They're not people who care. They're not people who have this knowledge from doing this for however long you've been doing it. Okay. And that's what you want to showcase in your post. You don't want to showcase blah, 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 because blah, 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 blah means, and I'm just saying, like, you're not just putting a post up to put a post up. You're putting up a post to make it something that people would want to read. Okay. Just the nature of putting something up, I would rather you not post than put up something that is really not worthy of somebody reading, because people are just going to scroll on by. It's going to hurt you. Okay. You want to put up valuable information, and you have a lot of valuable information in your head. I know you do. All right. So now use your perspective. Okay. This is why people want to book with you, because they want to know, they're curious about something. All right. So my personal perspective is that I have celiac disease. I can't eat gluten. Gluten and I do not get along. All right. So I have to travel that way. So this post and a lot of the posts that I did gluten-free Disney Cruise Line. I have a lifelong client now because of how much I post about gluten-free on Disney Cruise Line. I mean, I just know one that of within the past year that, because of my social media group, because I have a gluten-free travel group. So because of that, because of me sharing that, this person never knew me before that. However, me always talking about how great it is to be on a Disney cruise with needing to eat gluten-free, and with how they handle cross contact, all those types of things, that gave me a client. And now this client is hooked on Disney cruises because guess what? It's easy. And see, I can understand that because I live that. Okay. When you're traveling and you can't trust everywhere you're eating, it is, well, like, you don't know if they'll be able to accommodate the gluten free. And, like, even if they say something's gluten free, it might not be gluten free. And those who experience that get this. Okay. If you're not if you don't need to eat this way, then it might not speak to you, but that's okay. I still put it out there because it does speak to those people who specifically have this need, and it does turn into sales. I'm going to tell you, the person came out of the blue, but it wasn't out of the blue. She's been following me. Okay. So it's not out of the blue. It's you sharing that perspective, whatever your perspective may be. It might be traveling with little ones. Okay. It might be traveling with teenagers. Okay. I'm not in the traveling with little ones group anymore. I can still speak to it because I did it, but I am still traveling with celiac disease, and that doesn't change. Okay. Another thing that has worked really, really well is doing a series. Okay. And this is from a couple of years ago, but it's still a good example. I did top 10 and 10. I was 10 years in the industry, and I did my top 10 trips. Okay. But you can do this if you've been 5 years in, or you can even do top 3. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't even have to be related to the number of years. But I went through my top 10 trips that I took, and people were following along. I got asked at baseball games. My son plays baseball. What's the next one going to be? Okay. So think of all the things that you do as an agent, the things you experience, and how can you break that down into little stories, and even better, doing it in reels. Okay. Again, this is not a reels training. This is a content training. This is how to take what you have in your head and turn it into leads, because that is what social media is for. Social media is for this connection. It's for sharing what you know and telling other people about it. Okay. And if you do that consistently, you show up professionally, it can turn into sales down the road. Does it turn into instant sales? No. I've been doing this for nearly 13 years. It does not turn into instant sales. But if you are consistent in what you're doing, it does turn into leads, and then you nurture those leads to then convert them into clients. Okay. Now, bonus. This is a bonus because I liked my 3, but then I was like, oh, this is a really good one, so I have to add it in. Okay. So, and I think 4, I don't know, I like going with 3. So you just get a bonus tip. Share about where you're going. Like when you book something for your family, post about it. Okay. And because we get excited, when we say we booked, this for clients, is what about your family? Where are you going? And I will tell you, this did turn into a booking. When we booked, basically we were supposed to go to Turks in October, but it was right when that hurricane was hitting, and they moved all the Points to Paradise people. Like, they canceled all the agent reservations, which is fine, understandable. But my son was really looking forward to going to beaches, Turks and Caicos. So we hadn't been there since, I think we went in 2021. And so it's been, at that point, it'd been 4 years. Now it'll be almost 5 years. And he was so looking forward to it. Like, it was like just his favorite vacation ever. And then, of course, the hurricane came and we had to cancel. And then, we rebooked. I told him, I was like, we will rebook. Once I got the baseball schedule, once I got all the things overlaid. Actually, no, I rebooked it, and then I had to book it again. I had to change the dates because it didn't jive with the baseball tournament schedule. So I did have to actually change the dates. But this turned into a lot of inquiries. It's been that was real. And it's not that, but I want you to remember that, posting about what you're doing while you're doing it, but also your planning process. Take people behind the scenes. What's it like to, okay, so how did you pick the room type? I'm going to do I already have in my head a reel I'm going to do. My thought process for booking a hotel on a road trip, because we just did a road trip over spring break. And how did we wind up at this Notre Dame? We wound up at this really random Hilton vacation things, but I had things that I needed because we're bringing food back from Wisconsin, and so I needed a refrigerator and a freezer. Okay, and so I needed something that had that. Okay, that was basically my one thing. But not many hotel rooms have a freezer, but I needed that because things were frozen. And yes, I know I could go to the front desk and ask them to freeze. I don't want to deal with that. I just want my own freezer, my own refrigerator. And so that narrowed it down to, and then we had to figure out, okay, how far are we going to drive? And that narrowed it down to about 2 properties that fit and I only, when we were on road trips, I try to stick to Marriott's and Hilton's because that's where we have our points, so then narrowed it down to like 2 hotels, and the one we picked was $100 less than the Residence Inn. So I was like, this is how we wound up here. But I want to talk that through probably on a reel and say, this is my thought process when I'm doing something, even for my own family. Okay. And it shows that you think about things differently. All right. It shows that your expertise, this is how your brain functions. Okay. And that's how my brain functions. Okay. All right. So let's review. Be specific. Make sure that your profile picture is your beautiful face. Okay. That's actually a pre one, but be specific in your posts. You want to pick a topic and focus on that topic. Okay. You don't want to, we tend to want to go on tangents. All right. But our attention spans are terrible. Okay. So you need to keep that in mind. You want to be succinct. You want to pick a topic, focus on that, and share what you know. And this is all an experiment. Sometimes things do really well. Sometimes things don't. But it only takes one person seeing something and then like continuing to see your content to turn into a client. And again, this is a long game. This is not easy. There's nothing about this that's easy. But keeping these things in mind will help build your business in the long run. There's not one I actually pointed out the post that did turn into leads, but it wasn't just, I am a firm believer, it's not just one post. It is a habit of consistency that brings you your sales. Okay. And you have to be consistently specific. You have to use your perspective, your voice. And also, the series are really good. Series are doing really well right now. And share where you're going. Share what you're doing. Okay. All right. Well, have a great week. I will be back again next Wednesday with another sales mini lesson. And I hope this was helpful for you. And I would love to see your posts, like reply to my email or comment on this post, on a post that you might have done that you learned from today's lesson. All right. Bye-bye.